What if I told you the first page of the Bible is not about how the planet was made? Mind-blowing, right? We've all seen the pictures. God zapping things into existence in 6 literal days. But what if the OG text is dropping some next-level symbolism that most people miss? What if Genesis 1 is less about dirt and dinosaurs and more about something way more epic? God building his own kingdom, his own squad, his own cosmic home to hang out with humanity. Stick with me, because we're about to decode Genesis like never before. Forget everything you thought you knew. This is Genesis, the director's cut. So, let's get into the code. The Bible often uses its own internal dictionary. Think of it like emojis. The water emoji doesn't mean you're literally wet, right? It sets a vibe. In the Bible, water often symbolizes something specific. Fast forward to the end of the book, Revelation 17:15, and it spells it out for us. The waters are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So when Genesis 1 opens with darkness was over the face of the deep and the Spirit of God hovering over the waters, it's not talking about a giant empty ocean. It's painting a picture of a chaotic, disordered humanity, people without structure, without purpose, just a sea of disconnected souls. It's a world of chaos, and God's about to bring order. On day 1, God says, "Let there be light." We immediately think of the sun, but wait, the sun, moon, and stars aren't even mentioned until day 4. So, what is this light? In the Bible, light is constantly linked with truth, wisdom, and God's presence. John's Gospel calls Jesus the true light. So when God speaks light into the darkness, he's introducing his divine wisdom and order into the chaos of humanity. He's separating the world of his truth from the world of ignorance and confusion. This isn't about flipping a light switch. It's about establishing a spiritual reality. It's the beginning of a divine project to illuminate a lost world. Then, on day 2, God separates the waters from the waters with an expanse, a firmament, which he calls heaven. If the waters below are the masses of people, what are the waters above? Think about social structures. The heavens in biblical symbolism often represent rulers, authorities, and governments, the powers that be. So, God is establishing a structure of authority. He's creating a new political landscape, if you will. He's separating the rulers from the ruled, creating a new divine order over the people. This isn't about clouds and atmosphere. It's about creating a new system of governance under his divine rule. It's the blueprint for his kingdom. Day 3 gets even more interesting. God gathers the waters and lets dry land appear. He calls the dry land earth. If the waters are the chaotic, non-covenant people, then the earth represents the people he has called out and set apart for himself. They are his special nation, his covenant citizens. Think of it like God pulling a specific community out of the sea of humanity. And then, he commands this earth to produce vegetation, plants and fruit-bearing trees. This isn't literal gardening. In Scripture, people are often compared to trees. Psalm 1 says a righteous person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. So God is commissioning his new covenant people to be fruitful, to produce good works, righteousness, and justice. He's setting up his chosen people to be a source of life and nourishment in the world. Now we get to day 4, the lights in the sky, the sun, moon, and stars. We've already established that God created light on day 1, so what's this about? These celestial bodies were often worshipped as gods by ancient cultures. But here, the Bible totally demotes them. It says God made them simply to serve, to give light on the earth, to mark signs and seasons, days and years. Symbolically, these lights represent the new rulers in God's kingdom. Remember the heavens from day 2? Now they're being populated. The greater light, the sun, represents the primary leadership in the covenant community, like the priests. The lesser light, the moon, could represent civil rulers. The stars, the rest of the leadership. God is setting up his ordained authorities within his covenant nation to guide and govern his people, the earth. They are not gods to be worshipped. They are servants appointed by the one true God. Day 5 is where it gets wild. God fills the waters with swarms of living creatures and the skies with birds. Now, if the waters represent the Gentile nations, the people outside the covenant, what are these fish and sea creatures? They're symbols for those very people. The Bible uses this imagery elsewhere. Think of Jesus telling his disciples they'll be fishers of men. They weren't literally catching fish, they were bringing people into the kingdom. And the birds? They often represent spiritual beings or even foreign powers. So what is happening here is a picture of the whole world teeming with different kinds of people. That is, the covenant people called earth and the non-covenant nations, seas, all existing within God's ordered creation. He's not just the God of one small group. His authority extends over all humanity. And that brings us to day 6, the big finale. God creates the beasts of the earth and livestock. Then he creates mankind in his own image. If the earth is the covenant land and its people, then these land animals represent the different types of people within the covenant community. Livestock could be the common people, the everyday citizens of the kingdom, while the beasts of the field might represent foreign people who live among them. It's a diverse society. And then the climax. Let us make man in our image. This isn't about Adam being the first ever human. It's about Adam being appointed as the first king priest, the representative ruler of this new covenant world. He is made in God's image to reflect God's rule on earth, to have dominion over this symbolic creation, that is, the people and structures God has just organized. Adam is the CEO of God's new spiritual startup. So, what's the big picture here? Genesis 1 isn't a science textbook. It's theological poetry. It's the story of God building a cosmic temple. In the ancient world, when a God's temple was built, the final step was the God coming to dwell in it. And what happens on day 7? God rests. This isn't him getting tired. Rest in the Bible means he has taken up his residence. He has moved into his creation. He has finished ordering his kingdom and now dwells with his people, represented by Adam, in this perfectly ordered covenant world. The Garden of Eden isn't just a place. It's the Holy of Holies, the throne room of this cosmic temple where God and humanity meet. It's the original blueprint for heaven on earth. This changes everything. It means the Bible isn't in conflict with science because it's not even playing the same game. It's telling a deeper, more profound story about God's purpose for humanity. To bring order out of chaos, to build a kingdom of people who reflect his goodness, and to dwell with them. It's a story that starts in Genesis and finds its ultimate fulfillment in Jesus, who came to rebuild that temple and restore that connection. So, next time you read Genesis 1, don't just see a physical creation. See a covenant creation. See God building his kingdom, inviting us to be a part of it. It's the most epic origin story ever told. Thanks so much for hanging out and diving deep with me. If this blew your mind, hit that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next video where we unpack even more biblical secrets. See you next time.